Morning, good morning, good morning. I think this camera is supposed to be one row down, isn't it? Up here? I don't know, whatever. It's bright blue sky. It's washed out. It's a blue, 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 beautiful winter blue sky. And unusual for us, look at the shadow from our rocket lamp. That's not the sun. The sun is actually on the other side of the view. The sun is on the right-hand side of the view. And what you're seeing there is a reflection. The sun is shining off the front of the Don Quixote building and coming back down the street. So the shadows are all in the wrong direction. So if you stood outside in the middle of the street there where that guy has come from a moment ago, look at this. His shadow is pointing towards the sun. It's interesting. Good morning, good morning, good morning. Okay. Okay. It has been busy here. My God, it has been busy here. Jogger? Early morning jogger, kinda. Oops. The ninja people recently have been getting lazy. They have been leaving their rope hanging up all night. I guess it's a bit difficult to get it untied and looped up and whatever. So they've been leaving it up there. I don't see it at the moment. So maybe, I think Kaicho-san, whose building is like 2 doors down from them, I think he went over there and said, this is not such a good idea, So last night was a 1 keg night, as you can see. It varies. Friday night, though, it'll be busier tonight, that's for sure. And let's see, the last stream upstairs, it was busy. Suga-san, Ishikawa-san, we had a great stream watching stuff that we don't normally see. I had a good fun with that. When she left, I said to her, yeah, Saturday? And she's like, no. She cooperated and she did it, but she really did feel, not natural. And I can't say she felt a lot of stress, that's perhaps too much, but she really doesn't feel comfortable doing this all the time, like I'm used to it, whatever. So she doesn't want to do this too often, but we can ask her now and again to do this. Ishikawa-san, the other lady you saw, absolutely does not want to do this. There's no question about it. Ayumi-san will cooperate, but the problem is now she's a mother with 2 young kids, and there's no way she can be here at 8 o'clock in the morning. She can get here by 9:30 or 10 at the earliest. So whatever, we'll do this occasionally. After some time has passed, a few weeks has passed, I'll ask her again, and we'll see if we can go up there and do this. But in contrast to that stream, which we saw real hardcore printmaking, this is not. I have got tons of stuff I have got to catch up with. Mostly I'll get the scope out, we're going to be doing picking scraps of bark out of paper. There's some prints that have come in over the past few weeks. Ome is screaming and yelling at me to get them moving through, as Japanese ladies do. Whatever, in their own way, they're screaming and yelling at me. So I have got to pick chiritori desu. It's print surgery day today. Yesterday evening, it was Patreon addresses. If you're on the Patreon, I can't complain to people who are on the Patreon. If you're on the Patreon and you move, which everybody does, let us know. They bounce back like crazy. This is like from 1 week's worth or something. I don't know. That's an exaggeration. It's a couple of weeks worth. Let us know if you move, please. I'm not worried about the extra money, but you don't get them. An X percentage of them get lost. They don't get to you, but they don't come back to us. If they come back to us, we can at least get them on their way again. Let us know. We'll open this today. Remind me if I forget. Show and tell. We have a very, very, I was going to say fun. We have a unique show and tell, something we don't really see very often. This is old. It'll be 1825 or 1830 or something. One of the oldest things we've ever seen in show and tell. Let's keep digging. I've got to renew my alien registration card. Every 10 years you've got to renew it, and they very kindly have reminded me about this. If I forget that, I'm in trouble. It's just paperwork. I don't have to apply for it and see if I get approved, but I do have to renew my card. Let's keep excavating and get to the work. Oh, NHK. NHK is coming. And just so you know, a heads up, I don't have a date for you yet when it's going to be on, but NHK is coming next Thursday. And in fact, I can see they want to shoot the stream, or part of it. So today's Saturday, not the next stream on Monday, but the stream after that on Thursday. Wednesday night, for most of you, I will not be alone. There will be an NHK camera crew in the room. And whatever, they will probably have their own computer with the chat running and stuff like this. Maybe they will type in and say, hello, here we are. So stand by. That's next Thursday's stream, Wednesday night stream. The program that's being planned is, it's not a really big deal. The program is Wikipedia Japan. It's about foreigners who are living and working in Japan. And I get this time it's a 10-minute spot. It's not a major program. It's a 10-minute spot. So when she booked it, she's been here she was here last week. We were talking and chatting about it, and she finally booked it. She phoned me yesterday. And so the first thing I did after she hung up, I phoned back in Ome, the lady who lives 2 doors down from my house back in Ome. I phoned her and said, I got an emergency. I got to run out there and get my hair cut. I can come next Tuesday or something on a non-stream day, ready for TV on Thursday. And she says, no can do. I'm like, it's TV. I got to get something. I got to get my hair cut. It's TV coming. She says, no. She said, I slipped on the snow last week and broke my arm. I'm laughing. Actually, she was laughing as she told me. So Dave has an existential crisis now. Does he go to the same lady? He can't go to the same lady. TV is coming on Thursday. What do I do? What do I do? What do I do? Christmas cards and letters. Let's open some of these too. Okay, let's pick a print to get going on. All right, let's do this. Look at this stuff. All of this now, within the next couple of days, I have to check and clear all these prints. They have been stacking up. Our printers have been so freaking busy. You've seen some of these. This is a reprint of, it's the nature scenes. They are all now, the 11 of the 12 are now reprinted. But I have got to check them. This is from Mitamura-san, Mitamura Tsutomu. He's the same. He's a new printer with us. He's one of the gentlemen from the Kumiai. He's been making prints here. His father was the president of the Craftsmen's Guild for many, many, many years. And he's been working for us. He did that, you know, the block I carved here, the extra rain block for the Meiji print. He's the one who did the edition of that for us. Ask your hair lady for a referral. Even if she did, she would just tell me somebody else in the neighborhood there. I don't know. Has Dave lost a lot of weight? I have lost a ton of weight in the past 2.5 months. 2 months. I have lost more than 3 kilograms. You sometimes saw it on the stream, whatever. Where is it? The overhang. If I just tuck myself in now, there is still an overhang. I've got to get rid of more of it. We're not there yet. I think it's about halfway gone. But I had, like, sort of, if I can imitate it, I had a big fat overhang in the last couple of videos. It's been there. And it is now halfway gone. It is halfway gone. You were talking about somebody else. I don't know. I'll take it. I'll take it wherever I can get it. No, for the first time in my life, I've got weight that I don't want. All my adult life, I've been 63, 64, 63, 64. And we talked about it, come my birthday 2 months ago, I was nearly 72. I gained like 7/8 kilograms in the virus time, in Corona time. And I wanted to get rid of it. That's why we're starting the pool. So, okay, now we're gonna set the camera. It's gonna be too bright, so hang on a second. We're learning how to do this. Menu, camera settings, spot exposure. Hit the spot with my thumb, it turns it normal, but now it doesn't want to go off. There we go, got off. But now it's too dark. Also, it's also not focused. Spot focus. That's better. Turn that off. All right. I'm learning how to use this camera. So, I know you talk about the hospital cushion. I get this. I'm not going to get skinny, but all my life I've been okay at 63, and I think I can get down to 63 again. But I've got a graph. What's happening is, it's interesting. The weight plunged really like crazy for the first couple of weeks, and then the plunge tapers out. And I was chatting with the lady at the pool here. There's people at the pool who know all this stuff and the fitness and trainers and blah, blah, blah. I'm not really involved in that stuff, but whatever. And she said, yes, what's happening is you lost fat at first. And she said, now what's happening, because you're combining a reduced food intake with more exercise. She's saying the first step was the fat started to disappear. And the rest, she says, now what's happening is fat is turning to muscle. So your weight is not dropping so much. Your weight is going to go down slowly, but what's happening is fat is turning to muscle. You've got better body tone and less spare tire. I'm not building muscle this way, but after swimming every day, I do a kilometer now each time, a kilometer every time, and it must have some kind of effect, I guess. Let me be quiet for a minute. Let me get this set up. That's the focus spot. So let's see if we can zoom in, how close we can go on this thing. Do you see, even right there here on the first one we picked up, you see the bark? It's a piece of bark. For those of you who've never seen this before, some of the prints we can leave, but the prints that have lots of open white space, we really need to get rid of the bark because. And some of them it's really easy. Some of them it's simply a little matter. We just slice the washi paper a tiny bit like this. I don't know if you can see it. I think you can see this. We slice it. Look at this. On this one's so close to the surface, it's just going to pop out. Yeah, there's no flap to close. Some of them we open a flap, pull out the garbage, close the flap, and glue it down. So there's the first one for today. Bingo. Quick scan of everything else. How much more do we need to take out? And, you know, how much to take out. I could sit here all day on this one sheet because there are microscopic little tiny things everywhere. So if you're the person getting one of these prints, please don't put it under a microscope and complain to me that I didn't get everything out. Here's one here. Look, I'm not going to go this far. I can't. I would just be here for the rest of my life doing this. Well, maybe that one. Now that I've seen it, let's take it out. But I really can't go this far. That was on top as well. That could be not paper. Oh no, it's paper, yeah. So give me a break a little bit. And there are lots of things with the paper that I cannot fix. Okay, here's one. Look at this. On the back side, it's quite clear. There's a huge piece of bark. And from the back side, it's really visibly clear. From the front side, what do you think, gang? I think I'm going to leave it. It's actually, can you see where it is? It's actually right here. But for me to take out a massive piece like that will require 10 minutes of surgery. It would be replacement washi. I'd have to put more washi inside, and it would still be visible as a ghost on the front. In other words, it's zero benefit and maximum demerit. And I think, looking at it from the front, I think we're okay. More than that, I cannot do. The treasure, it's a living national treasure paper, and if that's what he decides to send me and his name is on it, then that's what we're going to get. What I can do and will do is this. It's obtrusive stuff on the front surface. These are the ones I can get out. This again, right on the surface, this one. Look at this. This, when it's right on the surface like this, almost certainly it came from the drying boards. The last step, after making the washi, they put it on the drying boards. So either their workshop was a bit dirty or, you know, it's when it's inside the paper. We always say that, but Dave never listens. It shows it's handmade. I get it. This is handmade. I know it's handmade. We wouldn't want a complete robotic white piece of paper like we buy when we buy copy paper for our laser printers. I understand that. But a print like this with beautiful open areas, when there's a big black or bark in the middle, it's disruptive. It's disruptive to me. It shouldn't be there. And as I said, it's a question of a call. How far do we call this? Okay, how about this? What do you think? What's the call on this one? I think I can go after this one, and I think I can get rid of it without making any more damage. Let's inspect. It's inside. This is the flap type. We'll have to open a tiny flap, tiny incision. Pull open a flap. Go after the dot. There it is. You can see it. It's an actual thing. It's a piece of bark or dirt. Okay, the dirt is now gone. Get my glue, and it's the same glue we use when we're mixing with the pigment. So there's absolutely no damage or negative things from this glue here. The tiniest dab of glue on the top of that. Close the flap. You can still see the shadow now because it's wet. The glue is showing wet. And we're good to go. She's gone. So it's worth it for me. What did it take? 1 minute? I don't know. Hey, how about this one? I'm not going to touch this, but here's another kind that's really common. You probably can't see anything to show. If we go to the back, seems okay. If we hold it up to the light a little bit, trying to get this where you can see it, there's a massive piece of bark on this one. It's in the border. And I'm going to leave it alone because of that, and also because it doesn't show from the front unless they display it against a white background. And then that thing will show. But it's out of the border, so I'm going to leave it. I know some of the outside printers we've been using, I know we don't need their names, but what they've been doing when they first start working with me, what they were doing is, some of the outside printers, when there was shitty black dots, whatever, they got in there with a knife themselves and started digging it out. And what they were worried about was this, is if they sent me back a print with a big black dot in it, they thought that's going to be a reject and they won't get paid. So they were trying to fix it themselves to make sure that print goes in the paid column. And the thing is, they're digging with a knife or a screwdriver or something, I don't know, whatever, and it was made a mess. Most of the time, it made an absolute mess. So I had to train them. I told them, look, leave it alone. I will fix it here under the microscope surgically. We can fix it much cleaner than you can fix it. And I promised them, I told them, trust me, even if it's not fixable. It's not your mistake. It's a paper maker's mistake. I'm the publisher. It's my mistake. I will still pay you for that print. So trust me, I will go through the batch, and ignoring the bark, I will pay you for the ones that are printed properly. Whether or not I can then fix them and sell them, that's my problem, not yours. So leave them alone. And now they do. It comes to my desk here. And we never touch up, like the black dots or something. If I take a bit of white out or something and paste it over top, I think there's a conversation going on here. We never do that. There is one in here. Let's have a look. It's pretty small. I don't know. We have the same conversation every time. How far to go? How much is OCD? Look at this. You can see it? Look at this. The flap opens up. Is it visible there? The flap opens up. Out comes the little bit of bark. Away she goes. A smidgen of paste. Close the flap, and if you show me this sheet of paper 2 minutes from now, I would not be able to find that. We're done. We're good to go. And this is Dave for the rest of the day here now. This is my job the rest of the day. Whoa, we have a couple. Whoa, 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 whoa. Okay, no question about this one. Look at this. That was dirt. It crumbled. It wasn't an actual piece of bark. It was a piece of, scrap of dirt from the workroom. That was on the surface too, that one. I know it's not all 100% blameable on the papermaker, We do too. If one of the printers, for example, printing on this gray one, if they're not careful, there might be a scrap of dirt in their brush and it gets rubbed into the surface of the print. So it's not that I'm 100% yelling at the papermaker and we are angels and never make mistakes. Absolutely, that's not true. We have our own share. We'll probably see some as they come up here this morning. The ones that are inside the paper clearly come from the maker. The ones on top of the paper, it's a call. It could happen even during the sizing. We do get one, I know. In fact, one of these, before I forget, we can skip to the bottom. Right here. This one's on me. Mitamoto-san brought these prints back and he had a problem with the red, and the red pigment just would not go inside the paper at that point. And it's possible that what we're looking at, there's a scrap of glue. Remember, I melt the glue carefully, I filter the glue carefully, I do the brushing. But if there's a tiny hard scrap of glue or the alum in the paper, that's it. The pigment won't go on that one. So it's quite possible I'm responsible for that. Talking about my daughters, my kids. No. Oh, that reminds me. The audio on the outside camera. I was testing the audio before the stream. No, that's not it. Is that the outside camera now? No, that's this camera. This. I think we have no audio from the outside camera. We're trying a new mic setup today. I got lots of feedback on this the other day when we were upstairs. I had a mic plugged in here and I was convinced that was the mic, and OBS was showing me that was the mic, but it wasn't feeding. And the problem was it was a 4 into a 3. Those microphones these days they've got a 3 thinger and then a 4 thinger. And the mic that I had is a 4, and I had it plugged into a socket that only takes 3s. So what I've done today, the mic on my chest today is plugged directly into the Macintosh here, into the computer, going into OBS. And I'm not using any audio, I believe, from either of the two cameras. And let's try just for a test here, just simply, I'm going to turn up, the two cameras are A and B, and I don't know which one is which. So I'm going to turn up the audio on one that I hope is the outside one, but it might be the inside one. Talk, 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 talk. Is that the audio indoors or outdoors? That's the audio indoors, I think. So down it goes, down it goes, down it goes. Well, somebody says that's the outside one. Okay, I'll leave it then. All right. Okay, I'll put that back, I'll leave it. Then I believe the audio from this camera is, I believe, completely turned off. You can hear that tap tap now coming through. This one, I believe, I'm not sure. Okay, I'll turn this one down again. I'll turn this camera audio off. I will now turn up the other audio on the other camera. And that may be the outside audio. No, that's this one. That's indoors. Down that goes. No. Double dip. Okay, sorry. So we know which one it is. In fact, it says audio from desk camera, which is this one. Okay, okay. That one's gone. All right, okay. So shall I put up again the one from outside, or somebody said it's buzzy? I don't know. Let me move it up just a little bit. This is the one that we think now is the outside camera. It's going up to a background level. I do have them labeled on the software, but the problem is we have two cameras coming in through the same identical, two twins of the same interface, and the computer never knows which one is which. So that the interfaces being identical have a generic label here. Here's a truck. One of the vegetable trucks. Okay, I'll leave it there for a moment unless I hear from you guys. Sorry for all the crap here. How do you do your first print? I don't know, what can I say? For the first print, if you don't know anything about this, you can draw straight onto wood if you want. You can draw on any kind of paper and try and paste it down. I don't know what to say. I know if you have nice washi paper, you draw and paste it down and peel it off, and it's really nice to carve. If you don't have that, draw directly on the wood. Carbon paper, you can draw something on paper, get a sheet of carbon paper, trace it so that the carbon lines go onto the wood. There's lots of ways around that. You say you don't have the fancy washi paper, but if you just go to, for example, I don't know where you are, what part of the world you are, but I know even if you just get some, for example, go to the Chinese grocery store and get a roll of like Chinese calligraphy paper or something. It's dirt cheap and it's easy. Or the paper people use for making Japanese shoji screens. That's usually available all over the place. It's not great. You wouldn't want to print with it, but you can draw on it and paste it down and peel it off. There's lots of ways to get around it. Look at that, completely invisible. Inside mic higher, please, or just I need to talk more. I don't know. Oh, I know, actually. Someone's talking about construction noise. It's the building. Have they started? I can't hear it here. They are doing construction, and if it does get obtrusive, let me know. Just we'll turn it off, whatever. I can't tell. But we are, over the next couple of months, there are going to be times when there is grotesque noise from outside as they bring that building down. look at this. I can't catch half of this, I'm sorry. They haven't isolated the building. It's graded as asbestos level 3, which means, I don't know, removable stuff that won't come into the atmosphere. They've got asbestos level 1 is the one where you evacuate the city or something, I don't know. They've got asbestos level 2. This one has been graded level 3, which means the guys themselves don't even have hazmat suits. They go in with a bunch of plastic bags, pick up the specific bad bits, put them in the plastic bags, go out, and it's all done from our point of view. And that's the stage they're at now. There's no shrouding on the building. There's people putting up the scaffolding, and the building itself is not shrouded like air isolation. And they're in the process of removing the first stage of stuff. And once that's out of the way, then in comes the crane machine to start smashing up. And that's when it's going to get really dusty around here. And hopefully, we've been through City Hall, hopefully it is safe. We don't know. If there's money changed hands, I don't know. We don't know. Japan is a fairly, trustworthy country in that sense. You don't buy off City Hall. But on the day they start tearing that thing down, we are going to lock all the windows tight and do what we can do to minimize. Big piece here, a massive piece. Look at that. It's not a piece of black bark, it's a piece of white bark, but it's still very obtrusive. 2 pieces in there, another piece. Look at this. Yeah, that camera does look like it's running outside there, okay. That's dirt. Is there new commands going in? This is dirt. This is a tough one. You expose the dark thing, and it's not a single piece of bark that's just going to pop out and roll away. It's a lump of dirt, a tiny lump of dirt, which means it's going to crumble. Still, we got her. Out she went. Good. There's a piece in there, but there's no way I can get that out. It's a fibrous piece. It's a little bit of bark with threads on it, and it would make a Grand Canyon there if I try and get that out. That's history. That's in there. There's nothing I can do about it. You know, not all the paper from all the makers is like this. And you saw, those of you who have been watching our affairs for a couple of years now, you know we were experimenting with some new paper from a guy called Sawaki-san. It was Mino paper from Gifu Prefecture. And he's a real nice guy, and he's making a beautiful, beautiful paper. It's really turned out not to be so suitable for our use. It just doesn't take color and embed color the way that we need to make these woodblock prints. But his product is a beautiful, beautiful product. And he himself it's surgical. His paper is surgically clean. The room, there's refrigerators for the stuff in the summer. It's clean. They wear nets. It's surgically beautifully done. And I was astonished when I saw his production facility, his little workshop there. But unfortunately, the end product, what he makes, and he won't change it because it's the stuff that he makes for his own clients, for his own needs, his own requirements. It's just not suitable for the kind of printmaking that we do. But the paper is stunningly beautiful and clean beyond belief. So it can be done, you know. And we've chatted about this before. Part of the problem with this paper is it comes from this Living National Treasure Workshop. And he's not allowed, because of that designation, he's not allowed to change his system. Look at that, it came straight out. Now that all changes. The day Iwano-san himself passes away, his son Jun-san, who is actually running the workshop, he will become the workshop owner. The Living National Treasure designation disappears. It's not something that you inherit. And from that day, if Jun-san wants to do it, he's free to change and do anything he wants with his workshop. Now, I don't know. You can't sit there and talk to him about this because his dad is there, and there's no way he can, even if he is thinking about it inside, which I have no clue. He may not even be remotely thinking about this. But even if he is, he can't verbalize such things. Look at this. That's outside. That's going to be trimmed. They're going to be my God, look at this one. 4 massive pieces of bark on this one. Can you see them? There's a massive piece inside there. Another one right at the edge. And I don't think I can get him out without making it look worse. Look at that. It's massive inside there. No, I can't get him out. I could dig him out, but there would be excavation marks left. Knock the corner on this one here. She'll see it anyway. Someone's asking, what is there a mark on the sun? The last one. We're talking about the last one or the one before that? They could keep it cleaner. So I'm instant. They can't. Like the problem with the building is it's an old. It's over 100 years, 150 years old or something. It's wooden post and beam, and they've got this. It looks great. It's like an antique wooden beams everywhere and all that kind of stuff. And of course, dust collects on top of those beams. Of course, you can clean. There's nothing in the National Treasure designation, I'm sure, that says you can't clean up your workshop. But they can't replace it. They can't put a new building there. So yeah, they could keep it cleaner, but they're in the same position as we are. They're deluged by work, inundated by work. Everybody's yelling and screaming, I want it today, I want it today. And it's one guy now, Jun-san, the son, who is doing 99% of the work himself. The guy is a good guy. He's not evil. He's a good guy struggling with a hugely difficult situation. We've offered to pay for an apprentice. We've offered to pay for interns. We've offered to use our Patreon money to do anything to help him move forward with this. But they just don't accept any offers of help on this. It's an old family business. And from their point of view, just look, Dave, just keep out of this. We're going to run this, you know. About 5 back, I don't know, whatever, I can't. Remember too, I'm not the final check on this. These prints, after I've finished with them here now, they go to Ome, they go to Yasui-san, and she's really proud of this. She's the last step in the chain. She's the one who will look at them and say, Dave, what were you dreaming of when you sent this one through okay, you know? And it happens, you know, whatever. The printers will send something through, I will send something through, I'll be chatting too much, or I'll have too much to do. I'll send some through that shouldn't be there. There's a file of emails I've got from people who have asked for a print to be sent back. We're not perfect on this. And there's also this question of standards. This is maybe fairly common, actually. The people who have seen this, they will get one of our prints. There will be a mark of some kind in it, and they will take a picture of it and send it back to me and say, Dave, I thought I saw you on the chat, you know, picking up all this garbage. How come I got this in the mail? You know, like, why did you send this through? And the picture they send me will have quite a distinct black dot in it. And I'm like, what can I say? You know, there were probably 2 black dots. There were probably 3 black dots. I took out 2 big ones and thought this now looks okay. But with the 2 big dots gone, somebody who just looks at this for the first time sees the little dot there. I don't know. It's like the experience of, you know, your wife says, do the vacuuming, okay? And you do it while she's out, and she comes back and says, I thought I told you to do the vacuuming. I thought I asked you to do the vacuuming. Not like I did. And it looks way cleaner than when I started, but she doesn't see that. She just sees the mess that's still on the floor. So, my God, been there, done that. Wow, wow, wow. Here's another one. Nothing I can do about this. From the front, it's sort of visible here. It looks a bit cloudy. This is not a single black dot. From the back, it's a bit more visible. And again, this is a clump, and I can see strings going off it. It's a clump of fiber, and there's no way. There's no way I can get that out without making far, far worse damage. Another one here. That's in there. There's no way I can get those out. The only ones, honestly speaking, the only ones I can really comfortably do are the ones where there is a single hard item in there, either an item of dirt or a piece of bark. Once it gets threaded or stringy, it's in there. It's history. There's nothing I can do. Look at this. There we are. Open the flap, expose the piece of stuff. This is actual bark. It's a piece of what they call shirokawa, white bark. And to be fair to Iwano-san too, the white ones, they are invisible in the water when they are doing bark picking. The white ones are just invisible. And he's got his job. He's got his whatever 100 kilograms of kozo, mulberry, that he's got to process on some given day. And away you go. And Jun-san does it. His mother works on it. His father works with him sometimes. Gotcha. If we check the paper for imperfections before printing on it, there would be nothing left to print with. Every single sheet would be rejected. A lot of the things you're seeing right here, if this had been an image that was full top to bottom, you know, an image, whatever, what other print do I have sitting here? Okay. If it was this print that I was doing, in fact, here's one there. There's one in the middle. But this print, there's lots more space where the chiri wouldn't be seen. It's only when you have wide areas of white or open space that it really shows up badly. Some of the prints, we don't even have to do this, you know, because there's so much printed area on the print, it covers all this stuff up. We have real trouble with the Great Wave, and I'm having trouble with this today because it's 99% wide open spaces. So. Yeah, that's the obvious question. Why don't we just pick them out and then throw away 90% of the paper? It just doesn't work. This one's dirt too. This is crumbly. Look at this. I don't know. This is a 50-50 call. I can get rid of it, whether I can get rid of it invisibly. From the back I can barely see it. There's lots of paper behind the bark. There's not so much paper on top of the bark. It's too intrusive. I gotta try here. It's too intrusive. We gotta try. There's the first peel back. The problem is this one is so close to the front that the amount of paper that peels back is not so much. When there's a good thick flap, you can get away with this because you can just paste that flap back and the damaged section underneath doesn't show. But here, the flap itself now is so thin. I think we got away with this. Ooh, lucky. We have got away with it. It looks much better. All right. We got away with it. Look at that. This is why they pay me the big bucks. Okay, now what to do with this one? Okay, can you see? Depends on the light. under the bright light on the front, looks okay, 100%. But if somebody mounts this, if they put this on a strong mat or something, there's two big chunks. You can probably see from the back. There's a big chunk there inside the paper here. And over at the other side, a couple more big chunks in that show, yeah, my God, they're all over the place on this one. Urgh. They show if it's going to be mounted like in a frame on a white mat. But they don't show when you look at the print under bright light on the front. I think I can get them out from the back without much damage here. Let's have a look. I think I can do this easily. They look like big solid pieces. Let's have a go. And they're near the back. Yeah, there's not even going to be a flap there. It's just right at the back surface. So at the back side, this one is deep enough. There's going to be a flap on this one. Let's have a look. This one should be classic. Let's just try. Oh, there she comes. Look at this. It just lifts straight out. There's our piece of garbage. Coming straight out. Close the flap. This is rough. It's on the back side. It's okay. Close the flap. Our garbage. And now from the front side, we should see nothing. It's now same as it was before on the front. But now if they put it into a mat, they're okay. Those things are invisible. Got it. Success. Don't win them all, but we win some. Please mat using black backing board. Yeah, I'm not sure. That might be worse though, you know. Yeah. Please only look at print with eyes squinted from a distance of 6 meters in candlelight. Whatever. Instructions. How to look at your Japanese print. This is red pigment. There's a big blob of red pigment. Can't blame that on the paper maker. Again, the same stuff. Look at this. Can you see it? Right in the corner there.おー、どうもありがとうございます。Thank you。おお、そこそこ。はい、どうも。あ、多めからですね。違う？あ、そうね。もう一回。あ。ありがとうございました。So okay, it's not only, it's from, this is auction stuff coming in. These are auction goods coming in. Nothing I'm going to open on the stream today. These are print sets. And this is for Watanabe-san, for the what we're calling our flea market still. I should change that name. Flea market is really not suitable for it. But we're planning, now that the Christmas rush and the December and November rush is over, it's really quiet for us. Subscriptions now are our focus. We're trying to get the new subscription series up and running. The printers, the packers, everybody's working on the subscription stuff. Online sales are very, very low, January and February. They always are. We're okay. We are just, at the moment, we're just trying to recover. Cameron's dealing with messages every day. Where's my package? Where's my package? The supply chain and delivery problem now is becoming staggeringly difficult. You don't need me to tell you that. You've read in the newspapers. And our decision to make this new series shippable by envelopes has turned out to be a stroke of genius, because the thing is coming apart now all over the place. We rebuilt the Australia thing, sending to Australia through Hong Kong. We found out last night Hong Kong has now shut down airmail to Australia. One of our alternate routes has now closed. We don't know how long that's going to happen. The Hong Kong website says it's because of Australian internal situation. So we don't know. So if you're in Australia and you thought we were going to be able to get back to you because of the Hong Kong route, that has now closed. For how long, we don't know. So it's going around and around and around. So anyway, what I was getting to was that we're just going to get quiet. We're going to make our subscription prints. The online catalog will be there. We're not going to try and promote, hey, buy our prints, do this, buy this, sell this. We are now going to be in a very hunkering down mood. Produce our prints carefully for this next year, the subscription prints, and then just try and keep things together. But Watanabe-san, when we came out of Christmas, I told her, okay, January, February are really quiet online, so let's do a big thing. Let's get some flea market prints ready. Let's buy a bunch of stuff. You organize it. Let's get millions of photographs. And sometime in January, February, we'll have another flea market matsuri, and we'll show a few hundred beautiful prints. And I'm not quite so sure if we're going to do that because we're not so sure we can even deliver this stuff. So, but anyway, we've started getting it ready. So I cranked up my buying. I looked for more different kinds of things on auctions. We've called our partner people who work in the dealers downtown. And we are buying heavily at the moment now. So whether it will happen in late January is almost no. Whether it will happen in February, we'll see. I don't know when it will happen, but we will have another huge batch of interesting prints. It includes the doi prints we got from them last week, some of the old interesting doi prints we got. And we're seeing deliveries like this now every day, stuff that I've been buying or ordering or asking people to find for me. So it's in flux, everything changes next week. Why? I don't know. So it's not just Australia. The reason I mention Australia is because Japan has not shipped direct to Australia now for quite some time, and we had a workaround by shipping to Hong Kong first because Hong Kong was shipping to Australia. That has now stopped. For how long? Of course, I don't have the slightest idea. Here's another one. This one's dead. Nothing I can do to fix this. This is, I suspect, sizing. I think this is on me. What you're seeing is the result of a little bit of hard glue or something that was in the paper or that I left when I did the sizing. And because there was a hard something in there or on the surface, the pigment didn't take at that place. It's one possible cause of this. Another cause could be the printer was careless and there was imagine a tiny little stone or something, a little tiny piece of something. And as he was brushing out, that thing was there and that would block the pigment from going into the paper. I could get my pigments, get upstairs, get a tiny brush with the same pigments and try and brush it in. But it's no bother. For one thing, it's too much time, too much trouble, and it wouldn't be right anyway. So that one is going to get a corner knocked. And bingo, and out she goes. Someone's asking, do the Philippines ship to Australia? I don't know. I have no idea which country, back and forth. We can't just use any country. The reason we picked Hong Kong is because when we ship to Hong Kong, they don't charge import duty. It slides in easily and smoothly. It's a free port. So it goes to us free. For us, it's a staging platform then to ship to Australia. I can't say, for example, ship to Canada first and then somewhere else, because Canada is strict with the imports. We have to declare every single item, pay heavy duties and sales taxes to get it into Canada, and then send it on to the next step. It doesn't work like that. So we can only use, to my knowledge, two countries, the US and Hong Kong. The US isn't a free port like Hong Kong is, but they don't care. Small packages under, under about $2,000? I don't know the exact legal limit. Small packages under that limit just go in smoothly. So we can ship to the US first, and then our team there ships out to Canada. That white spot print is dead. It's not going. It's now going. It's going to go in the file folder and it will never see the light of day. There's no way we would put out a print with that kind of a defect. No. Okay, that's today's first little batch done. How's our time? 9 o'clock. I've used 1 hour of time. What's my hour worth? What's Dave's time worth? Let's grab another batch that's kind of easier. Let's see. Well, let's have this batch. Just take them in order here as they come, Dave. Next one, this one. This is from our printer Kawai-san. She does toe the line. It's carved by Kawasaki and printed by Kawai Chiharu. And she's obedient. She will put her name on these prints. Kubota-san doesn't, but she's obedient. When I visit Echizen, do I visit the Okamoto Shrine? It's interesting. And I was there the month before Corona started. So when was that? That was 2 years ago. I was there. I went to the shrine. I didn't specifically give an offering. I walked by it with Jun-san. We went for a walk together. So I walked by the shrine. It's really a cool place. The roof on that thing, it's to die for. If you're curious about this, if you Google Okamoto Shrine in Echizen in Fukui, it's unique. It's got a roof shape that, like, well, they say it's unique. It's never been seen anywhere else and blah, 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 blah. It's a fabulous place. But no, did I pray? No, I'm not too much of a hypocrite, but whatever. Oh, the lamppost, we're getting a floater, are we? Hi. Okay, let's get to it. This one's going to be easier. Any chiri or bark that happens, of course, inside these birds and leaves, we're going to leave it. I'm not going to look inside each leaf to find. You can see what I'm going to do here on this one, obviously. And in fact, even part of the design, look at this. The design has little black dots as part of it. So we can get away with a lot of stuff on this one. You know what I'm going to be looking for is I'm going to be looking for isolated dots out in the middle of the open space. So this one, most of these are going to pass through over my desk with no interference, I hope. There are lots of defects in there, but nothing that would cause me to do that here. This one's outside, that's going to be trimmed off. That's outside the border marks of which will be cut. Here's one. What do you think about this? On the front, looks okay from the front. There's a very, very vivid big one here. It's not so visible from the front. Again, I said until we mat it. Can I shine the light through the back of this? I can't get the light behind it. This has to come up because that would be very visible. It's right on the surface. It's just going to tear off. Done. She is so good at this, you know. She is so good. She's just, they're consistent. We've talked about this before. Singapore, no. We've tried Singapore. No, they have import duties or sales tax, one or the other. I forget what it is. Singapore is not a free port. To my knowledge, we did check on that. Unless my knowledge is, unless I've screwed up the checking, I believe Singapore is not suitable for this. Correct me if I'm wrong, but I think no. Speaking of correct me if I'm wrong, man, oh man, the stream we did with me and Taran-san, was it last Monday? I've got some of the prints here. We've got to talk about this. Correct me if I'm wrong. Dave is was sitting there spouting off about these prints. As we were washing, I'm spouting off, yes, this one's 1933, this one's 1934, here's one about the Chinese War, blah, 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 blah. And there's people on the stream who actually could really read that and correcting me as we went along. So, another one. I'm going to leave that. It would leave damage, and I think, given the dots on this print, I think that's okay. What's the conversation about me? Something that Dave ignores. He admitted it before. I don't know what you're about. So. There's a big one here. There's a big one here. See it? You can see it under the light there to show. Right here. When we look at it straight on, anyway, it's academic because it's a feathery big lump of stuff. I would never get that out without Grand Canyon type excavation. What am I doing? I'm looking at the video to see for cheating. I should be looking at the print. Dave. Idiot. I'm sitting here watching my own stream. Big, bright, black dot. Pop, out you come. Look at that. There she goes. Out you come. Good. Again, there's a couple in here, but again, they're not pickable. Too much excavation. In an area like this, an open, wide area, if I excavate something, it's really, really going to show. In the middle of something like this, we can get away with it, but out in that wide open area, something on top here? No, it's inside. Which were the questions here? What are... I missed a question there. I don't know. I'm sorry. Ask him later. Can't do that. Okay, 9:09. We should know for show and tell. We can maybe take a bit of extra time for show and tell because I want to talk a little bit about some of the things we did the other day. I brought down the prints that we washed the other day. They're here. I don't know. Look at this. You can't see. I can't get the light right. It's got to come out. I think it's too visible. That was good fun with Taran-san the other day, and man, we got a ton of work done compared to doing it by myself. When there's somebody extra there, it's so much more work gets done, you know. Trouble is he's so busy, he's teaching and then carving. touch the screen. What's on? Someone's asking, oh yeah, I saw this question in the email. I think it came through to Cameron. The Chinese crew that filmed in Mokuhankan. I know nothing about it. I know absolutely nothing. They came, they filmed, they said, yeah, we'll be in touch, blah, 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 blah. And that's all I know. I never saw anything about the picture. They didn't send me a copy of it. Did they broadcast it? What happened to it? I know absolutely nothing. I'm sorry. Nor do I even know how to find out. I wouldn't know how to even get in touch with those people now. They must have maybe at first sent an email, or maybe they phoned. I don't know. I don't have a clue how to get in touch with them. This happens lots over the years, We've got copies here of a number of the TV programs we've been on, but also we don't have copies of a lot of it. It just comes and it flies away. Places like NHK, they're really good. They send me a disc, or in the old days they would send a videotape, an actual thing, a cassette thing. But companies like that one, that's it. Bang, nothing. I have no idea. I can't help you. I'm sorry. This today, it's going to take me literally all day today on this job. Maybe even more, but whatever. Look at this one. This is a fibrous one, but it's right on the back surface. So if I just pick out the brown part, you can see the fibers go up into the paper. Just cut it off, pick out the brown core, and the fibers are still in there. Enough so that it doesn't show on the front. That's an easy one. Bingo. Okay, enough of this. Let's look at some prints. I got to do this all day, but you certainly don't have to. Let's look at some stuff. What a stack. Oh, what a stack. Okay, show and tell. Before we get to some of this, I have tons of stuff here. So let's talk about the light outside. It's because of the way the sun reflects off all these windows and stuff. There we are. It's a beautiful sunny day now. You can see that the reflection is gone. The sun is on the right-hand side from where we are. The sun is off to the right. Okay, a couple of things. I'm not going to go through the whole stack, of course, whatever. But of the prints we pulled off the other day, the prints we picked off the water, me and Taran-san, just a few things. Most of them were from, I know, a lot of them were dated. Remember, they were dated. Like this one. This is Showa 8. They were dated Showa 2, Showa 4, Showa 3, Showa 8. This is through the 1930s, and pretty much the entire stack we saw was dated with that time frame. So this little one came along. You remember we saw this. This is one that had red. It had a red. We were worried that it was going to feather out, and it didn't seem to do any more feathering than the other ones had done. And I quickly showed it to you. Haha! Here's belligerent Japan, and they're threatening America and England, blah, blah, blah. Somebody who reads Japanese much more quickly and easily than I did read it at that point. And of course, if I had taken a little bit of common sense to read it, you can see what's going on. It says the 12th month, the 8th day, America, England, and it makes a declaration of war. And this is a stamp that was made, it must have been made just after Pearl Harbor. In the West, we remember it as 12/7. Japan remembers it as 12/8 because they're on the other side of the timeline. I don't know. I think Hawaii was still the 7th, but whatever. And anyway, so this must have been made not in 1932. If it was made in 1932, then we need a time machine here. It was made, of course, after that event, and a reminder that, things were always not so hunky-dory between these countries. But yes, even these match label prints, these are normal Japanese people collecting these match labels, and of course they were like on the Japanese side, of course. What are you going to say? So there isn't much of militaristic interest and stuff in these things. There is, I left it upstairs, I put it in a folder. The 3 soldiers, it's upstairs, I'm sorry. We saw the print of 3 men. One of them, I think somebody said in the chat, that looks like Stalin. There was a picture of 3 soldiers, and then there was just 3. And it is an event that somebody knew. They looked in the chat they looked it up while I was showing these prints. This was an episode from the China part of the war in the 1930s. 3 soldiers. It was a suicide mission. I don't know, whatever. 3 guys took a bomb, carried it forward, blew a hole in the enemy lines, and everybody could get through and stuff like that. A grotesque kind of story that I just don't want to have any involvement with. War is just a total distortion of all our values and everything. Those guys are heroes or idiots. I don't even know what to think about such a thing. But anyway, the people who were making match label prints were looking for themes, and that was the theme of those 3 soldiers. If you look for, they're called the human bombs. There's lots of Google information about them out there. Anyway, enough of that stuff. That was the air in here in 1930s and stuff, but whatever, nothing else we can do about it. These are a bunch of the prints that Taran-san and I washed and took off the other day. And I don't know how close we can zoom in. They came through, of course, as we expected. They just came through beautifully. They still carry their embossing. They have, everything is rich and clean. I don't know how much you can see. Look, you can see this one. The background color, of course, because it's printed, is deeply embossed, leaving the outside of this. And these are all prints that he and I threw into that hot water the other day. They came out just beautifully. It's really worth, for me, it's really worth the time and trouble to save these things. These were all glued to that grotesque, terrible background paper. And what we're seeing here, actually, these are all random prints from broken sets. We are trying as much as we can to keep things in sets here together. This particular album was just a bunch of random stuff thrown together. This set actually came up on Yahoo Auction last week, and it went too expensive. I couldn't afford it. They are just such wonderfully delightful objects. Our series this year, we hope to be able to replicate some of this delight. Look at this. The metallics, everything. They came through completely okay. Glorious stuff. Absolutely glorious stuff. One in particular I wanted to show you, that crane. We picked it up. Where is it? I should have sorted this out. Here we are, right near the top. I got lucky here today. There's the crane. Look at this. You saw me. We showed this before it went in the water. It's hard to believe this actually had a bath. Okay, we could do this all day. You've seen these sort of things before. Whatever. Put them aside for now. Let's look at today's real show and tell. And actually, I should have perhaps prepped it a bit. Today's show and tell. This is, for me, today's show and tell is a tie your socks on kind of event. I shouldn't really emphasize that too much because for most of you, it may not be. Many of you, when you see today's show and tell prints, you might be like, really? Because these prints, two things, they are one, really old, and two, they are in really old condition. They are not in very good condition at all. And I'm happy about that because I got them really cheaply. They had a starting price of 1,000 yen on the auction. There were 3 prints on 3 auctions. Starting print of price of 1,000 yen, and nobody else bid on 2 of them. So I got it for hammer price, 1,000 yen. They are from, oh, look at this, a person, he's left the flap folded over so I can pick it up. Thank you, ma'am. Probably a lady. Look at this. Thank you, thank you. Japan. And as I said, for socks, for me, this is sock blowing. But for you, they may look a little bit disappointing. I can see this here. Let me just get it open first. They date from, as far as I can tell before I do any research here, they date from the 1830s. And what we're looking at, these are Surimono prints, original Surimono prints. We've got some in our catalog. We make reproductions. We're reproducing the Meiji era copies of Surimono. There are many, many, many Meiji era Surimono copies in the market that were made. They're called the Akashiban. Akashi is the place near Kobe where the workshop was, where they were made. And the Akashiban are very, very common. What is not common, what is really rare, is the original prints on which the Akashiban were based. And we have here today 3 of them. And as I said, I don't know, I haven't managed to look them up yet. These will be documented items. And they went for 1,000 yen each because of the terrible, terrible, terrible condition of the paper. But I don't care. I want to touch this paper, feel this paper, try and figure out how these were printed. Oh my God. This is Gakute. This is like a once in X years experience to get these. This is Gakute. And what you're seeing here is a hugely faded, it was blinged to the max. Everything you're seeing here as this sort of faded color, this was copper. Another different one here, this would have been bronze. Maybe there's silver here, I don't know. I'm just starting to have a look at this. That would be copper, this would be bronze. The pattern on this kimono would have been silver, it's now black. This would have been max bling. It would have been grotesquely gorgeous. And now all we can see is the faded, oxidized remnants of it. Printed with delicate, delicate, delicate key blocks. Look at this, it's so delicate, you can barely even see her face. The paper is thick. It's so thick. My normal printing paper, the paper we use for our printing, this is maybe 3 times or 4 times as thick. It is rich, thick, fluffy hosho paper. And it is unsized. These marks you see in the back, this is the background from where the metallics were printed. This has been mounted. Somebody's glued it on something and somebody else has taken it off. Look at this. It's going to come off. Huh. The paper, the paper, the paper. This one will not go in the bathtub. Absolutely not. For a few reasons. It's unsized paper. After a few minutes in the warm water, this thing would just simply dissolve. It would dissolve into mulberry fibers. There's nothing. This one is not going in the bath. It wouldn't do anything for me anyway. Somebody's repaired a bit. This thing's seen, look at it. There's a wormhole on the front, but it doesn't go all the way through. And there must be. This is interesting. On the back, I can see the strokes of the Baron across the back. Vivid Baron strokes. You can see them here. And yet the wormhole doesn't go all the way through. So maybe what we've got here, somebody has pasted on the back an extremely, extremely thin paper. It's so thin that it doesn't even cover up the Baron strokes. Again, what looks black here, what looks dark, these are all metallics. There would have been a base tone on the kimono here, and this would have been, you tell me, copper or bronze. This is not silver. These are all metallics. More wormholes. These things have seen better days. The lettering too, it's done in either bronze or copper. My guess is bronze, but I'm not quite sure. This is black. This would have been silver. There would have been a silver pattern. The artist names are here. This one is, just a sec. Where are we here? I had, okay, this one is Hokkei, Hokuke. This is Totoya Hokkei, a pupil, a deshi from Hokusai. He was Hokusai's apprentice at one point. The first one we opened up is, I believe, Gakute. That's Te, and I believe this is, I'm not 100% sure about the top one, but this is Te, and I think this is Gakute, who also, I think he was he in the same group, Hokusai's deshi? I'm really not sure, I'm sorry. His name was Harunobu Gakute. And then the third one here, I'm sorry, I'm not reading this third one here at all. No idea. I don't recognize that one at all, I'm sorry. But these will be known. Once I get these scanned, if we do a Google reverse image search, we will find these. Good copies of these will be in museums here and there. Which one we didn't look at? Let's go back to this one. The Totoyo Hokkei. It's a series, and it'll be a series based on perhaps the characters for Moon, Sun, Earth. I don't know. It'll be a set. It'll be a set of 5 probably. And there's 2. The outside is copper, I believe, and the inside is, I think, akakimpun, bronze. Not sure. Silver. This would have been a silver moon. You imagine when this thing was first made. This is, a temple in the sky. This is a temple up in the clouds. I don't remember the story. And the temple in the clouds is backed by what would have been a completely silver moon. And for dates, without looking this up specifically, somebody may be finding this. If you go to ukiyo-e.org, this print will be there. Go to ukiyo-e.org, look up Hokkei, 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 and put in maybe month or moon, put in temple, look it up, and we can get a date on this. Without knowing, my guess would be 1840. I'm just going to say 1840. And the clouds are all done in Karezuri. Again, for those of you who don't know, surimono, these kind of prints, these were not items for commercial sale. These prints of this type were made by poetry fans, people who were making kyoka poetry. These were not printmakers or artists at all. They were kyoka poetry fans. They got together once a week or once a month, had a drink, wrote some poetry, had another drink, fell on the floor, wrote some poetry. Just a group of people, nearly all men, merchants, who got together to enjoy poetry and the convivial whatever. And it became a custom among those groups in that era, 1820s, 1830s, 1840s. It became a custom for them to, at least once a year, and sometimes more, have a little contest among the group. The leader or somebody would pick 3 poems based on some specific theme, and then they would have commissioned an outside workshop to do a design, to do carving and printing, and make a bunch of prints. And they would make, we don't know, 50 copies, 60, maybe 100, there's no numbering. They would make enough to to take share among the group. And then apparently it became also common that there would be big New Year meetings. They'd get a big hall somewhere, and Group A and Group B and Group C would come for this meeting and drink some, and they would exchange prints like this. So they would make a print like this, knowing that they were going to be giving it in a little paper package wrap, little lacquer box. Here's our New Year's print for this year. It's nothing as good as the one you gave us last year. Oh my God, but this is our little small attempt to make a nice print, and I hope you like it, and thank you. And the other group would say, oh, thank you, Mo, I'm sure it's wonderful, I'm sure it's gorgeous. Ours is nothing to look at all. And Group B would open this package there, and they would open this thing, and they would be stunned into silence. Oh my God, they've killed us this year. And yes, it's really beautiful. And they get home, okay, next year, guys. All right, next year, we have to crank it up. And they would pour in any amount of money. These were not for commercial sale. So they would just pour in the money, name brand artists, name brand carvers. They would just crank it up. These were merchants, rich guys, whatever. Inside. So this went on, this kind of escalation went on year after year after year after year through that whole time period. Meanwhile, down the street, the normal print publishers publishing their Hokusai Hiroshige prints for sale are trying to keep costs down, because normal people are buying stuff out on the street, a cup of noodles, whatever the price was supposed to be. This stuff was nothing to do with that. They were not made for commercial sale, so money and cost was no object. These are terribly preserved copies, but you take what you can get. And I am very, very happy to have these, to feel the paper, to touch them, to drink this in. I'm going to get them under the microscope, have a look at this, see what I can learn from these. They're called surimono. Surimono is a generic term which just means printed thing. Suri is the action of printing, mono is thing. But this genre. And when I finished my poets series, I made my surimono albums. This was my goal. I had seen this stuff. I wanted to make prints that were as beautiful as this. The first one I did, the crow on the shrine gate. In my surimono albums, I made reproductions of a bunch of these. They're even still available for sale, whatever, on our we do subscriptions. My surimono album number 4. It's got a bunch of these in it. This was my goal, to see if I could replicate this kind of quality and this kind of object. And I could replicate with carving and printing. I can't replicate the paper. Fabulous. This is a fabulous treasure for me. Fabulous. I paid 1,000 yen, and I think 1,300 yen. So my total investment here is about $35, $40. Somebody's found some, have they? It's possible for them to cost 1,000 yen because most people saw the auction. I'll link to one of the auctions. Hang on a sec. Most people saw the auction and thought, what a piece of crap. Who needs that? And that's fine. Those people can move on. Nothing to see here. Suits me just fine. Here's one of the 3 auctions. Let me get back here. Where do I paste it in? There's one of the 3 auctions. You can follow links to get the other 2 if you want. And most people saw that and said, as I said, nothing to see here. Absolute treasure. Absolute treasure. Oh yeah, okay. Let's roll this up. Before we sign off then, let's open that other little package. Before we sign off, I guess this is maybe from some chat person member here. I don't know. It looks like a small present for me. I don't know. It's addressed to me, and the customs tells us what it is. It's some kind of shirt, I guess. Is this embarrassing or not? I don't know. Let's have a look. So this comes from somebody in Huddersfield, and maybe there's going to be a name, something in here, or maybe there won't be. I don't know. Is there a letter? Is there a note? Let's just get this out of here. No letter, no name, no nothing. Ah! No way! No way! No way! Is this somebody here? Speak up! Speak up who you are! For those of you not in the loop here, FC must stand for Football Club, FC Halifax Town. This must be their name, the Shamen. I'm sorry, I don't even know what the word Shamen means. Halifax is the place I was born, back 70 years and 2 months ago. I would never would have thought of that. All right. Thank you very much. Shamen. It's something I know. Draymen, the guys who used to ride carts and stuff. Is shaman something like this? I will look it up. I will look it up. I don't know who you are. I'm sorry if you're looking now. This is a pleasant, very nice little surprise. Thank you very much. The zip code, the postal code, is a Huddersfield postal code. That's the next town. Very, very close. I cannot read the name. I think it's okay. We can. This is not doxing anybody. I have no idea what it says. I have no idea how to read this. I'm sorry. Harper. My guess would be Mr. Harper, but that could be wrong. Thank you, sir. Thank you, Mr. Harper. This is great. Is my mom here? Is my mom on the stream today? She may not be. She may be out with my daughter. My daughter was going to pick her up today, going for shopping and stuff. I don't see my mother here. Okay. She, of course, she too comes from Halifax. So, all right. I now have a football shirt and I have a rugby shirt. One of the visitors to the print party here just before Corona, the Rugby World Cup was here, and we were chatting this and that, and the guy had fun in the print party, and he sent a Rugby World Cup England, the white England with the rose and everything shirt for me. It must have been really expensive. And I never even really got back to him and say thank you about it. I sort of don't really actually know who he is. Oh, I see. The stadium is called the Shea, so they're the Shamen. Okay. Oh, Hopeless is here. Mom, did you see this then? So you've seen this. I think Mom is probably not much of a football fan, of course. No idea. FCHT, Football Club, Halifax Town. All right. I got Wordle in 3 today. I haven't looked at it. The Wordle starts at midnight Japan time is when the new one comes up. So sometimes I do it in the morning. I haven't looked at it yet today. You got your brag in. So okay, we're out of here. Today's Saturday. I'll be back here in 2 more days. I say the same thing at the end of every stream right now. I have no idea what I'll be doing. I will be doing some sizing. I probably can't wait till Monday. Kubota-san wants paper on Tuesday, I think. I'll be doing sizing for 2 days. Maybe I'll be doing sizing Sunday and Monday. So Monday may be a sizing stream, or it may be something else. I don't have any idea. Okay. Thanks, guys. I am off. I am out of here right now. Let's pop up the outside camera. Halifax Town Football Club. I would not have guessed that in 10,000 years. If you're here, sir, thank you very much. Okay. My dad took me to games. Sometimes they were hopeless. Well, clubs come up and clubs come down. Who knows? There's good times and bad times. There's a Twitch streamer named Halifax from Halifax. I didn't know this. I will have to look him up. Well, the ninja people are getting ready. It's there. The rope is there. Do you see it hanging down on the ninja building? You can see the rope and its shadow. I don't think they will be doing any climbing on the wall at this time of day, but there they are. They're going to have a busy day today. Asakusa will be full of kids, and the ninja people will be very busy with their activity. Okay, I really should get out of here. Back to work. Thanks very much for watching today. Thanks for joining. I'll catch you again in a couple of days. I'm heading out for some coffee. Bye for now. See you soon. Thanks again.